It's showtime.
Hey, welcome to Did You Watch Survivor Last Night? My name is Jake Shadell. This is a podcast about reality television and friendship in which I ask my best friend, Thomas Powell, if he did indeed watch a certain reality show. Hey, Thomas, how you doing today? This evening?
I'm doing all right. This evening we're doing a special night recording, Survivor After Dark, and
we're gonna.
Yeah, I'm doing all right, man. I just I got high and watched Mandy, which was a good choice.
Oh yeah, I have not watched that yet.
It is there's a lot that happens in that movie. That movie is a lot, but it's very good.
I remember the trailer coming out and being like, I don't know exactly what this movie is going for. It seems like it's like three different things.
It is it's hard to describe the exact aesthetic it's going for, but it definitely hits it. It works.
Sure. Cool.
Also, Nicolas Cage is in it, and he screams a lot, and it's good.
Oh, let's get into this episode because my mom just texted me about Survivor. So Thomas, I will ask you for the first time this season, did you watch Survivor Edge of Extinction last night?
Just like the wide-winged dove sings a song, sounds like she's singing. Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Yeah, I did, actually. Well, sorry, I watched the Oscars last night. Tonight I watched Edge of Extinction.
And what an Oscars they were.
TV's greatest night is what they're always calling it.
They are always calling it TV's greatest night.
The magic of the movies.
I love movies.
I feel like I've done that joke every year after the Oscars that we've recorded an episode.
Well, they were a fun time, and everybody's talking about it.
Motion pictures, baby. There's just nothing quite like them. I watched one today.
You what?
That should have been nominated for a lot. Nicolas Cage should have been nominated for an Oscar. The director, whose name I can't remember, should have been nominated for Best Director. And it should have been nominated for Best Soundtrack. Like, at a certain point, it should be like, this is Mandy's 10th nomination and 10th win for Best Soundtrack, because it should just win every year.
Okay. You're really hyping this movie up.
It's a good movie, dude.
Okay. I've been pretty sick since midnight last night. Do you think I would have the mental capabilities to fully engage with this movie?
I feel like you might even be in a better state of mind for that.
I was on the phone ordering something today, and they said, okay, what's your address? And I said, I'm sorry, I'm very sick, and my brain is not quite working. And it's not great to begin with, so...
Yeah, of course. Walking into walls and all that, but
that's not a thing.
But I mean, I think honestly that will help you because you don't want to bring too much of yourself to that movie. Okay. You want to just let it wash over you.
Great. I'm looking forward to watching Mandy, starring Nicolas Cage.
Yep.
So this episode of Survivor Edge of Extinction is called "It Smells Like Success." What do you think of that title?
It is a title.
Yep, that's fine. Middle of the road.
They should have made it smells like Team Spirit.
That would have been good. That would have been really funny. I'm sure nobody's ever made that joke before.
No one has ever made that joke.
Jeff introduces this season. It says it's Edge of Extinction. War Dog, which is apparently what he goes by, says he doesn't want anyone to know that he's a lawyer, but we talked about last week, he's not a lawyer, he's just in law school.
Do you think that he goes by Ward? Yeah, he's not, he's just a law student, yeah. But do you, in the same way that, what's the 19-year-old's name again? Do you remember?
Keith?
I think so.
Yeah.
The one that goes to Duke?
Oh, does he go to Duke? I kind of forgot about that.
The one that's a med student.
Yeah.
The same way that he is not a doctor.
Right. They're on their way. Jeff makes a point to say that Survivor is unpredictable, and then the looting of the ship begins. Did you see this? Jeff...
I also like him saying that's unpredictable, like this isn't something they've done on, like, each of the last 10 seasons.
Saying as a whole, not a ship thing. It's like the...
Look at all this stuff on this ship. You'll never guess what's going to happen.
Yeah, the Extinction Island is what they're not going to guess. That's what he was talking about, not the fucking food on the boat. Come on. Come on, he's talking about the whole season. Did you notice at one point he parkoured off of a box by grabbing the
Yes,
pole above
Jake,
him?
I'm so glad that you brought this up because I probably would have forgotten to, but I remember watching it at the time and it being so shocked by it and impressed that I had to file it away.
Yeah, it was.
It almost felt like it
fantastic.
didn't happen.
I can't remember the last time we've seen him do something like that, if ever.
I feel like if you hadn't brought it up, I would have thought I imagined it.
That's fair. Yeah, it was a fantastic and probably unnecessary move, but that's why it made it so good.
Yeah, he does. Jeff does a front flip and then a handspring, and then he did the splits when he landed. It was very impressive.
At the front of the ship, after everybody left, he did a 720 off the front of the ship.
Yeah, hell yeah, cool. Baby. Yeah, he did a 630 senton like ricochet.
Yeah, he's
off of the top of the boat.
He's the new Prince of Parkour.
Yeah, and he landed that into he's like Johnny Impact, who?
But Jeff Impact now.
Yeah, Jeff Impact. But then he landed it into a splits again, and it was very cool. But then, oops, he ripped his pants doing it. How embarrassing!
Very embarrassing. But he's Jeff Probst, so he really pulled it off.
He kind of played it off like a joke.
Yeah.
Which made it, like that kind of charm, that frustrating charm. It's like anything could happen, and he still makes it look good.
He said in his very Jeff Probst voice, "Probably's nerfed."
Yeah, it's like, come on, how did you weasel your way out of this one, Jeff?
Okay, Ron finds an envelope for a secret advantage. What do you think of Ron thus far?
Is he the one that's an educator?
Yes, from Georgia.
He seems okay. I very distinctly remember seeing educator and being like, is there a reason they're not saying teacher? Like, does he...
Well, he runs a school, like the...
Oh, you're right. No, that was, he's the one that runs the school for other educators, right?
That's what I thought reading
Or teachers, as normal people call them. Why is this infecting me?
I think that's what I thought based on what he said in his bio, but the clips they showed of him at work, like, show him working with, like, kids, so I don't really know what the deal is with Ron Clark. Anyway, do you want to hear my advantage idea for the ship? My secret advantage idea?
Sure.
Okay, so they do the little envelope thing again, like they always do, and it says secret advantage. And the secret advantage, the holder learns, is an idol, but it only works if you find the person who found the other secret advantage envelope. So neither one will work on its own, but when put together, it's kind of what they did in Go Wrong, but a little different.
Yeah, sure.
And that'd be cool. Anyway, I'm gonna
helps you form an alliance with somebody too, which is nice.
Yeah, but you also have to you'd have to figure out who to talk to and stuff.
Yeah,
like the whole game. Over on the Manu tribe is where we go first. Kelly Wentworth has learned from her previous 2 plays that she hasn't done a good job of forming genuine relationships with people, so she's going to try to do that this time. David helps the new people at camp with what he learned from Millennials versus Gen X. Oh, this scene was very good. He reminisces on how, during his first outing, he was afraid of the noise of wood being chopped, and then they cut to a scene of him jumping while Wendy chops some wood. Very good. That's some good editing right there. While they are working on the shelter, we learn that Wendy has mild Tourette's and OCD. That's interesting. And that a lot of people are saying Wendy is the next person voted out. But I don't think so. That seems like something they wouldn't just drop in if she was at the second boot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, maybe not.
That really colors her character.
Yeah, I could see... Yeah. The other thing with that is I feel like there's never that linear in elimination that early on.
I'm sorry, say that again. I didn't hear what you said.
I said I don't think there's the eliminations are ever really that linear in terms of like who people talk to right at the start, where it's like, oh, these people talk to each other, we're going to vote them off systematically. Like everything's way too fluid at the start of the game.
That's true. Wendy is the most endearing person on the season, I think, from her talking head talking about herself. It was she seems like a cool person.
Yeah, she seems endearing. She's a little hyperactive for me. Not that she doesn't have an excuse, but that does get a little grating. Would
you vote Wendy off?
No, I wouldn't vote her off.
Good.
I meant that more as like not that I dislike Wendy, but that she's not my favorite player right now. And I don't mean that in the way that you say where you're like I don't like them. I mean it in the way that she is not the player that I like the best on that tribe.
Who is?
Man, I'd have to look at. Oh no, I know who it is. It's Keith.
Oh really?
Yeah,
he seems all right.
He does.
Oh, last thing about Wendy. She says she is socially awkward, and it says the quote, "People vibe in a way that I could never." I liked that. Over on the Kama tribe, or also known as the Kick a Man's Ass team, which is what I believe we should be calling it from here on out.
Kicking a man's ass.
It's very good. Joe says that he wants to put Joey Amazing away, but also, like, it's Joe, so there's no chance that's going to happen.
Yeah.
You did not see his first season, right?
I did not.
Yeah,
no,
well,
I only saw him on Second Chances, and he was on Game Changers, wasn't he?
He was not on Game Changers. This is his third time. He played Worlds Apart, which is a terrible season. Worse than Triple H, probably. No, Triple H was pretty fucking bad, too.
Wait, so he was on the blue collar, white collar, no collar season?
Correct.
I feel like I saw a few episodes of that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's a very bad season.
Yeah, he was on the no collar tribe.
Yeah,
which is an interesting collection of people.
Yes. Again, bad season. There we go. That's the words. They don't have. Did you notice this? They don't have tribe flags this season. It's more like a big wooden sign in the front of their camp instead.
This is the kind of thing that I would never notice that you always seem to notice. I guess because you've been watching a lot more than I have, but that's something I've literally never thought about once watching the show.
I saw it at first and I was like, oh, that looks different, and then I kind of kept an eye out for it the rest of the episode. So the second or third time it came around, I was like, oh yeah, that's different.
You could tell me there was any aesthetic difference in terms of like that kind of stuff, and I would believe you, because I for whatever reason I just don't pay attention to that.
Fair enough. Ron looks at his secret advantage in private. It's an advantage menu, so he can steal a reward, get an extra vote, or use immunity, individual immunity, but it has to be used by the third tribal council. It seems unnecessary, right? Like,
yeah,
who's going to use an idol in the first 3 tribal councils?
Yeah, which is honestly, I feel like probably his best move, unless that early on he's on the chopping block, is
which is doubtful.
Yeah, is to steal the reward, because that's a good way to curry favor among your tribe.
Yeah, but then what if people are mad at you come swap or merge?
You gotta get to the merge.
True.
And also you gotta use that. I mean, are you gonna use it for an extra vote? When has that ever fucking worked?
Right, like one time. Back in the shelter, a few people ponder what Edge of Extinction might mean. Somebody's gonna find out. Aubrey says her plan is to lay low until she needs to make a move. But that plan might not matter because Eric is already talking about targeting Aubrey with Gavin. And then comes the big plot point of the episode. Excuse me. Oh, excuse me. Okay.
You gonna be good?
Yep, I'm fine. Yeah. So Reem does laundry, I guess. By which
I think people were leaving their clothes hung up to dry, and she put them out on the sand because it would dry them faster.
Yeah, but then everybody pointed out, like, now my clothes are sandy and I have to wash them again. So everybody's annoyed with her, but your boy Keith forms a bond with her. The two of them and Wendy go out to help Keith practice swimming. The rest of the tribe aligns against them. What do you think of Reem at this point?
I was honestly entertained, but she is way too strong a personality, and way too strong a personality early. But that might help her going forward.
Yeah, hopefully. I thought she was very fun to watch, but I can understand why people on her tribe are rubbed the wrong way by her.
Yeah, I don't think that I would get along with her if I were on the island with her, but as someone who generally does not like people that play in like a very antagonistic way, like the type of person that like sticks around way too long, like I honestly was very entertained by her.
I don't think she was ever like intentionally antagonistic.
Yeah,
though.
she wasn't really stepping on, other than the you know, stupidly doing the clothes thing. She just gets incredibly defensive, but like she's an entertaining watch.
Yes, agreed. Here's another aesthetic thing. Going to the immunity challenge. Did you have any thoughts on the new immunity idol for this season?
No.
All right. Well, it's very cool. I like it a lot. Moving forward.
I could not tell you what it was shaped like.
It's like a dragon or something. It's like a big circle dragon. It looks cool. Keep an eye out for it next week. This was what I call a too many things challenge.
Yeah, this challenge really just kept going.
Every time they went on to a new obstacle, I was like, "There's another one."
It was like an LCD Sound System song where you're like, there's like 4 minutes of song here stretched out to 8 minutes.
Yeah. There were too many things, but the giant slide puzzle at the end was cool. I did like that. Oh, so I know you have no interest in being on Survivor, but I do personally want that to happen. You being on Survivor. The Survivor Specialists, another Survivor podcast, had Bradley on from Ghost Island.
Oh, didn't we hate him?
Yeah, he fucking sucked. I was like, maybe it was just the edit, so I'll check it out. That dude is so obnoxious. He, like, passes judgment on everyone, and then it's like, you were, like, a pre-merge boot, dude. Like, shut the fuck up.
And rightfully so.
Yeah. Yeah, that guy sucked.
One of those people that tried to completely control the game way too early.
Yeah, he's no good. It was like an hour and 45 minutes, and he really destroyed like the camaraderie between the hosts, and they were like, we love you because you were on Survivor. But it was hard to listen to. Anyway, he said in that episode that once you get slide puzzles down, they're very simple because, you know, they just move in a certain way, so you should be practicing slide puzzles. That's all I had to say about that. And
Okay.
It was very big, and that was cool. That's it. At one point, they have to cross a bridge, and Kelly Wentworth, who they're only calling Wentworth this season. I guess that started with Second Chance, because she was with Wigglesworth also.
Yeah, I understand why, but yeah,
it's Kelly.
There's not another Kelly.
Yeah.
Like, let her have her first name.
If anything, okay, so there's Kelly Wentworth, and then there's also Kelly Wigglesworth on Second Chance. Why don't they just call one Wiggles and the other Went, and then George Went, Norm, can be her dad?
I mean, look, I see nothing wrong with that.
I think that's a good
idea.
idea.
And the Wiggles can be collectively be Kelly Wigglesworth's dads.
It's like when we had Nikki and Paulo on that one season, and they counted as one contestant. The Wiggles can count as one contestant despite being four.
It's exactly like that.
It's the exact same thing. Kicking a man's ass wins immunity, and Flint, which Jeff almost forgot to give them. That was very funny because it seemed like a very genuine moment. He was like, "Oh shit."
I also like he was like, "Don't forget your reward. Like, don't you personally forget the reward and not me."
Oh, I thought he said, "I almost forgot your reward." Did he?
I think he said, "Don't forget."
Oh, well, whatever. He did some sweet-ass parkour on that boat, so I'm all good.
He sure did. He was just tired. He was winded from all that parkour he was doing.
That's fair. Reem and Wendy back at camp tell Rick that they are targeting Wentworth and Lauren. Fine, I guess. Wendy tells War Dog. I'm never going to get used to calling him that.
That's really...
Wendy tells War Dog...
That's really something.
Wendy tells War Dog and David that she is voting with Reem no matter what, which is, after the vote, an interesting quote. At one point, Reem says, "I am so strong." And then they show her sharpening a machete toward David. He's like, "Hey, can you stop doing that?" It's very good. Okay, so I watched this episode once, and while looking through the notes, I noticed that I didn't write down any wildlife shots, so I had it on in the background while I was working on something else. And I still saw no wildlife shots. So,
wow.
This season's a bunk so far. I don't know if I'm using that word correctly.
Remember when we said that it seemed okay? It's actually a bad season.
It's a bad season. There's no wildlife. Although, actually... So, there were no wildlife shots in this episode, but then I watched, the 1.5-minute long clip that they put on Twitter or whatever. And there were 2 wildlife shots in a 1.5 minutes. It's like, you could have used one of those in the preview? Or in the premiere? Whatever. It's fine. So no wildlife shots this week, sorry to say. Next week, though, we should have some. Oh, man. My roommate is cooking some buffalo wings right now. And I've been sick all day and not eaten much, so those smell very good. Thanks for asking.
I bet they do. Probably wouldn't work out well if you ate them, though.
No, probably not. I would probably... as soon as my stomach starts feeling better, I'm like, ooh, buffalo sauce. Just kidding. Okay, Thomas. Tribal Council. Here's another aesthetic thing that I picked up on that I'm sure you didn't bother noticing. This season apparently has a pirate theme. Which is weird, aesthetically speaking. Tribal Council looks like a pirate ship. I don't know. The weird thing about that is there are still pirates. Not like
it's true.
1800s pirates like Johnny Depp, but if the whole theme of this season is extinction, why pirates? Maybe because Pearl Islands was popular.
Yeah, I guess so.
And that was the theme that season. But that also had, Rupert. You don't have a Rupert this season. You don't have a... Whatever. It should have been dinosaur-themed. Jeff? Are you listening to me, Jeff Probst? Okay.
Jeff Probst doing the parkour, but then a meteor comes down and hits him while he's doing it.
Here's how I remember it. Jeff Probst jumped off the front of the ship just as the meteor was hitting below him. So when he landed, it was no longer a danger. And Jeff Probst survived. He's the last remaining dinosaur.
Same thing he's always been doing.
Surviving. Reem accuses everyone who is targeting her of ageism and then just basically buries herself for the rest of the tribal council. It also seemed very much like Jeff Probst was prodding at her to make her more the focus of the tribal council, which was weird because it's not super often that he does something like that. I don't know. Did you pick up on that?
I did not.
I don't know. Maybe it's just me looking into things. Reem says that they didn't want their mom out there. Reem gets 4 votes. Wendy gets 3 votes. 1 vote goes to Wentworth, and 1 vote goes to Lauren. Those 2 votes are from Reem and Wendy, the people who promised to vote together. Did not end up voting for the same person.
Uh-oh.
Whatever. So Reem comes up to a sign after leaving Tribal Council and sees that she has a chance to stay in the game and says, and grabs a torch and then heads to the boat, where she is then dropped off at Extinction Island and says, "There's nothing here." And then the episode ends. So, should be interesting, I think.
I'm very interested.
I'm very interested.
I'm very interested to see where it goes from here.
Yeah, I'm very excited to see what happens, because I didn't even think about the fact that they will arrive there at night. with only a torch. Like, that's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be kind of freaked out.
Yeah. Imagine walking up to that island and then the boat that took you there is like, peace.
See ya.
Like, what do you do?
Don't die.
Okay, let's read these texts that my mom sent me. She says, I'm watching the first episode of Survivor. It's almost time for Tribal Council. Here's who I don't like. ... That's a 5-period ellipses.
That's an extremely on-brand text from your mom.
Absolutely. Here's who I don't like. War Dog. I don't like...
Yep, correct.
Yes. I don't like what he said about Wendy. She's too stubborn and she pushed back. Duh. She's not going to be told what to do by a jerk like him.
Hell yeah.
And then she followed it up.
Get him, Jake's mom.
She followed it up 10 minutes later saying, cool twist. That would be so scary to go on that boat in the dark. I just said that.
Agreed.
I like Reem even though she's annoying and has a bad attitude.
See? We are 100% on board.
I want my mom to text me her reaction to every...
I am a big fan of your mom's Survivor opinions, especially now because they're my opinions.
Yeah, we have the same opinion so far. Okay, let's get into points. Thomas, you got a point for Kelly surviving. Excuse me, Wentworth surviving. You got a point for Joe surviving.
That's her new name. Her new name is Wentworth Miller from
Prison
Break.
You know, we can't...
What if they did a Survivor season where the only way that they could solve problems was that people had to fight each other to the death?
There's only one rule in this prison with no rules. If you want to fight somebody to the death, you put a chicken bone in their bed. I will never forget that was a thing on that show.
You can't tell, but I'm saluting right now.
You know, it's a new season, so I am promoting the show a little more than usual. So we've got some new listeners. To the new listeners, I'm going to let you know right now, we can't go an episode without referencing Prison Break or Lost or Kyle XY. So just prepare.
Honestly, it's
for
mostly just Lost.
Mostly Lost. Occasionally,
Lost
Prison
is doing
Break.
most of the heavy lifting there. I feel like we've referenced the event more than we've referenced Kyle XY.
Really? How often do we reference the event?
I think a lot of times when we talk about Lost. You know what? We're not talking enough about Flash Forward.
We're not talking enough about heroes either, I think. It's another topic we love here on this show. Look, here's the thing. On Extinction Island, someone flies, someone goes extinct.
We like to have fun around here on this podcast.
But don't forget to brush your teeth. Okay, Thomas, you got a point for Kelly, a point for Joe, a point for kicking a man's ass, winning reward and immunity. That's 2 points. You got a point for Reem getting voted out, and she did go to Extinction Island, so you got a point for that as well. I got a point for David and Aubrey surviving. Kicking a man's ass won. They also won Flint, which I had guessed. Because I've seen this show before, I know it's always Flint in the first episode. Kicking a man's ass also won immunity, so I got a point for that. And I also guessed that Reem would end up going to Extinction Island. Or the person voted out, not Reem specifically. So we are tied at 6 points each. Let's predict what's happening in 2 days. Who do you think will win reward? Kicking a man's ass or Manchester United?
Kicking a man's ass is the Joe tribe, correct?
Kicking a man's ass is the Joe tribe because you know Joe.
I'm
kicks
sticking
men's
with
asses.
them.
The only man's ass Joe can't kick. Keith now. Talked about that in the last episode. I'm also going to say kicking him ass. Kicking him ass.
Yep, kicking ass.
I'm just like a cool priest. I'm always kicking him ass.
Kicking him ass.
With a capital H, of course. I will fight God. I'm going to say kicking a man's ass also wins reward. What do you think the reward will be, though, Thomas?
I'm going to say tools to build a shelter.
I'm going to say tools to build a shelter.
We're there now. This is the stage of the game.
Yeah. Ooh.
And it could last for the rest of the season.
Do I want to say kicking a man's ass? The reward will be kicking a man's ass. I'm questioning if I want to pick tools to build a shelter or fishing gear. I think for the sake of the game, I'm going to say fishing gear. Who's going to win immunity?
I'm also going to pick
Kicking a man's ass. There we go. Okay.
It's just really hard to bet against Joe on the physical challenges, as a group.
Yeah, they're going to have to get him out before the merge if they want any chance. But here's the thing, with the Edge of Extinction, he's going to be fine.
Yeah, he will be. The other thing with him, though, that I felt comfortable... I did pick him for that tribe, didn't I?
You did, yes.
One of the reasons I feel comfortable picking him is because he's such an asset to them in terms of winning challenges that, like, you really got to want to vote him off.
Yeah, they're going to have to throw a challenge at some point. Who do you think will be voted out?
I'm going to say that War Dog is going to be voted out.
That's who I said last week. I'm going to look up the cast because I have forgotten it. Survivor TV show, that's what I'm looking for. Google, thank you. Why doesn't it just give me the current season when I Google it? There we go. For current season, see Edge of Extinction. Okay, contestants. I'm going to say... I'm going to say Keith. I'm sorry to say. I know you like him, but the fact that he can't swim is probably going to be a detriment to their team. So, sorry, bud. But then he and Rim can hang out on Extinction Island.
Sure.
Or the Edge of Extinction. Whatever. Who gives a shit? This show's stupid. What do you think will happen with Keith or War Dog? Do you think he calls himself War Dog because he and his dog were a big fan of the movie War Horse? I think that's the case.
That's certainly certainly a sentence in that it is words that you put together.
Okay. Who do you think that the person voted out will go to Tribal Council? To Tribal Council, of course they're going to Tribal Council. To Extinction Island.
Yeah, excuse you.
Yeah,
I think everybody's gonna at least try Extinction Island.
Right? Like, why not? You can, if it fucking sucks, you can leave in 5 minutes.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's not like you can't decide to leave.
I think the only way I would be okay with somebody being like, yeah, I think I'm good, is like Jomo last season being like, look, that was a fucking amazing play. I'm just going to respect the game and let that be it.
Yeah.
Like, that's the only reason I could see somebody ever being like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, I think later in the game, if you're like, all right, I just want to go to Ponderosa,
honestly.
like...
Yeah, pre-merge, I'm like, hell yeah, I'm doing Extinction Island, but then post-merge, I'm like, I would very much like a Bud Light and 7 pizzas. Okay. That's the first episode of this new season. But Thomas, did you watch the challenge this week?
I didn't.
That's unfortunate because you would love it. So there was a passing the ball through the mud contest. Zach inadvertently threw his ball to Wes, who then ran across the finish line. The winning teams, who formed the Tribunal, are Polly and Natalie D, Cam and Ashley, and Wes and D. They send Amanda and Josh, Kyle and Maddie, and Bananas and Morgan into the Tribunal. Who do you want to see go into elimination?
Bananas and Morgan.
Good choice. At the elimination, they all vote, and there is a 3-way tie, because, each person votes individually. TJ asks Cam, who was the last to vote, if she is sure she's willing to force a tie. And then Ashley, her teammate, changes his vote to Bananas and Morgan. So that team gets to decide who they face, and Banana calls out Zach, who is one of his closest allies on the game, and every season they are on together. It's a cool move. They have to rock climb on a world map and place the flags on the appropriate countries. Bananas and Morgan got 15 of 20 correct. Out of the 20 Zach and Zahida got, do you have a guess?
Did they get 20 of them correct?
They got 18.
Oh, damn.
Means Bananas and Morgan are the second team voted out.
Oh my god, that's incredible.
Yeah, like the curse is alive and well. Ashley was kicked out first, and then Bananas second. Like, don't steal the money at the end. That's the lesson to be learned here.
Or I guess just steal the money and don't come back.
Yeah, that's another option. Next week is a double elimination, so we'll see what happens there. Hey, new listeners, we are trying to campaign for Season 40 to be Heroes vs. Villains 2. It's right around the corner. They're going to start shooting it soon. So let's tweet at everybody in the Survivor universe. Say HVV2 is the hashtag. That includes Jeff Probst, Mark Burnett, other Survivor podcasts, other Survivor contestants. I mentioned to Figgy the other day that she should be on Heroes vs. Villains 2 on Twitter, and she liked the tweet. So, that's cool. You can follow us doing that campaign at DYWSLN on Twitter, or me at Jake Scheidel. I locked my Twitter because I'm applying for a job, and I don't want the new job to see me talk about how I had diarrhea today, because they probably wouldn't hire me then. Thomas, what's your Twitter?
My Twitter is at Jake Scheidel. Yeah, it's at Thom not Thom.
Yep. That's an H in the first time there. This is an audio medium. We've got new people listening, so gotta spell it out for them. You can review us on Apple Podcasts. Do you want to give that boilerplate review one more time, Thomas?
This is my favorite podcast. I like it better than all the other podcasts. I give it a big thumbs up.
Fantastic. Oh, more Survivor news. The 2-hour episode this season falls on March 20th. So, that's my birthday. I realized after I said that that means nothing to people who don't know me personally.
Yep.
Anyway, great birthday gift. I can't wait. And it's about this time when we say, have a great Sunday.
Deuces.
Making a distinction between life and law. Odds favor the former when you wear a mask. Masochism forming in the reflection, and I'm trying not to turn into a psychopath. Better to have lost it than to find it tossed out. That's what I'm telling myself. Wasn't I better than nothing? Making a decision about steamed or fried. Wanted to be needed, so I fed my cat. Think I'll keep to myself for the next few days. Feel a buzz that can't be bottled, smoked or canned. Sabotaging life just to find something to write about. Why was it always this way? Did I do it on purpose? Schizoid build, listening to puddles swallow melted snow. Spring has sprung and finally it's not cold outside, and I'm thinking about the places that I wanna go. Passion dissipates when it's fastened to the faces we wear, only to become them. Lying to ourselves every day becomes incredibly easy.